Israeli fighter pilot Ilan Ramon was chosen to be the first Israeli on the NASA space shuttle Columbia. Tragically, as we know, it ended in disaster as the space shuttle disintegrated upon its re-entry, and Ilan, together with all of the other 6 astronauts inside, died immediately. About 2 months later, NASA was searching for the remains of the craft, and providentially near a town called Palestine in Texas, they found 37 pages of Ilan's diary. They spent months painstakingly deciphering the words, trying to piece it all back together, and they found on one of the pages a page handwritten in Hebrew. They worked out that this was the page that contained the words of Kiddush that Ilan had said in space. Rabbi Tzvi Konnikov is the Chabad Shliach to the NASA Space Center, and he related the background to that page of Kiddush. About a year before Ilan's spaceflight, Ilan had approached Rabbi Konnikov and asked him whether they could study together, whether they could learn together. He said that he realized going into space, he was a representative of the entire Jewish people, and he wanted to keep a Shabbos. He wanted to make Kiddush in space. They began learning regularly in the months leading up to his space mission, and Rabbi Konnikov said in the weeks leading up to the mission, where normally the astronauts are completely focused just on the space shuttle, the space mission and the task at hand, nevertheless Ilan was in touch with him, asking him to make sure that he got the words of the Kiddush right. He insisted on writing it down by hand, and that is the words of the Kiddush that he read in space. Interestingly enough, Ilan also insisted on taking kosher food to space, and NASA made special arrangements to make sure that Ilan could eat kosher food throughout his space mission. As we said, his mission tragically ended in disaster, but nevertheless, the handwritten page of Kiddush that he used in space did survive. The second of this week's parashas begins with a special mitzvah of kedoshim tihiyu. We're commanded to be holy. And the commentators point out that it's a very interesting thing because the Torah says that this mitzvah was said to the entire Jewish people together. There was no hierarchy of Moshe and then Aaron and then the elders, but the entire Jewish people, Daber el kol hadas b'nei Yisrael, speak to the entire congregation of Israel and tell them this mitzvah of being kedoshim, of being holy. Says Rav Hirsch, we often make the mistake of thinking that kedusha, that holiness, is only for great people. It's only for the leaders. It's only for Moshe Rabbeinu. It's only for Aaron. It's only for the rabbi, but it's not for a normal person. Therefore, says the Torah, to every single person, men, women and children, all together, equally, we have this mitzvah of kedoshim tihiyu, of being holy. And what does it mean to be holy? Holiness does not mean to seclude ourselves. It doesn't mean to go live on a mountain top and to meditate all of the day. Holiness simply means to do those actions which bring Hashem's presence into the world. To sometimes hold ourselves back on those things that we would like to do ourselves, because Hashem has told us that there's a more elevated way to lead our lives. Each one of us can make our own unique contribution, and therefore this parasha, this mitzvah, was said to the entire Jewish people, because we all have a role to play. Ilan Ramon made a kiddush in space. He went up to space and he made there the act of sanctifying Hashem's name. He did something for Hashem in space. Each one of us, although we're in our own homes, have the opportunities, whether it's within our family, whether it's reaching out to other people, we all have the opportunities to be kedoshim, to hold back on what we would like to do for the sake of heaven, for the sake of Hashem. Wishing everyone a very good Shabbos. Keep well, keep healthy.